Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell, because if you hit that bell, you know when the premieres are coming and you can be one of the first to see our next vlog. There is quite a lot of work to be done, and the first step is getting this mountain back. So I've had to stop the time lapse there. I've come across a little problem, and it could be a very expensive one. Morning everyone, it's not quite as cold this morning, and I've been on the mini digger, just starting to kind of bring all of the soil back to a big mound. In fact, I was missing Mount Ed, and like a phoenix from the flames, it's coming back. So I'm going to do a time lapse now. I've kind of scraped up quite a bit, but the boring bit's gone, and we're going to get a big mound of soil now. Obviously, I think we've seen enough mini digging for quite a few months now, but I thought quick time lapse just to show Mount Ed coming to fruition. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to get in my drains coming off the roof whilst there's no rain around, make it a lot easier. So I've got two land drains to put in, and then two kind of big sump pits at the end with access from the ground. There's quite a lot of work to be done, and the first step is bringing back Mount Ed. So I've had to stop the time lapse there. I've come across a little problem, and it could be a very expensive one. So as I was digging, I noticed that the track at the back had come off a little bit. It's not a problem because I'm a master mini digger driver. No, as I spotted it had come off, basically just to get it back on, instead of keep going the way I was going, I needed to go the other way, which was forward in this case. So I did that. The track went back on at the sprocket at the back. I think you call it a sprocket. And so I thought, I'll just have a look what's going on at the front. And this is what's going on at the front of the digger. The reason I'd been having problems with the track coming off at the back is because this little stone here had worked its way under the blade and started to kind of mess with the track. So the track's been bent there, but it is rubber, and I've got cracks here. That is not good news. So thankfully I found it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break that rock up with a hammer, get it out, and then see if I can just quickly finish this job. But I think I'm going to need some new tracks. These tracks I've not changed since I've had the machine, and it had done quite a lot of hours before I got it. So it's looking like I need 2 new tracks at a cost of 1,200 euros. Not great, but at least I think I've still got it in a position where I can actually use the mini digger until the new tracks arrive. But I'm going to have to get them. There's no two ways about it. With that hole in the kind of chain as such, it's just going to wear pretty quickly. So I'm going to go online and order my tracks. So I've just ordered the tracks, 950 euros. But there's nothing I can do. I need a digger, and it's a imperative piece of kit really. So hopefully they'll come another 4 days, something like that, 5 days if I'm lucky. And I'm just going to try and limp through the rest of this mound, get that done, and then stop using the mini digger. With the digger tracks costing so much, and so many of you asking us to open up a Buy Me a Coffee account, we decided to open up a Buy Me a Coffee account with the first goal, help raise enough money to pay for the digger tracks. Back on with the time lapse. So to the untrained eye, it probably looked like I was just messing around, moving soil around. That's not what I've been up to. I will, however, show you my large mound of soil. There we go, Mount Ed. So that can stay there until the what is it, Hymac driver comes. I'm not too sure whether it's Hymac or another huge digger comes and flattens out the whole of the land. So we've got a lot of clearing up before we're ready for that. But that I can't really get much tidier than that at the moment. And why I did that, it's all to do with this drainage pipe here. At the moment we've got a lot of water coming off the roof and it's just sitting in pipes and sitting in this hole. I need to now dig in a trench with a French drain that kind of follows the path of the track as close to this mound as possible and out into the middle of the garden here and do some drainage towards the van. I want to get this pipe really far away from the building as quick as possible, because if I put a drainage pipe in deep and all the water kind of infiltrates into the ground next to the building, we could get subsidence. So it's the last thing you want. So basically the pipe that's behind me there needs to go away from the building as quick as possible. The sun's come out this afternoon, which is great news. It warms up a bit. I've been digging a trench for the French drain that's going to drain off half of the roof, and I've still got the other one to do on the other side. I'm going to show you where we're up to with this drain and a bit about the soil inside the trench, and then I'll show you where we're up to back on the other side where we were working on the gas earlier. So let's go have a look at this trench. So this is where we'd got to when we did the concrete base, and I've just dug a curved ditch getting away from the building and away from the central path that we're going to have, so whilst at the same time staying well away from the trees. This is where I've got to at the moment. I don't want to go any further today because it's going to block the passage for if I need some more gravel or sand over near the cement mixer. But yeah, tomorrow morning I'll go get some gravel, get the actual pebble gravel type thing, get the pebbles in the bottom and then lay the drain and then some pebbles on top and then backfill all of this. Let's have a look inside the trench. First thing to know is that whilst we've been working, we've crunched this pipe, so I'm going to have to cut that section out. It's not something you can just reshape and just leave like that. No, you have to cut it out and put a connector in. It's not a problem, it's one of those things. Also, I found the level of the pipe and I've gone lower than the level. Always have to go lower than the level as it's coming out the tank, otherwise the water will not drain, which is quite kind of logical really. Water doesn't go uphill. The other thing I wanted to show you in here is the levels aren't particularly great here, but that doesn't matter because I've got quite a bit of pebble going in here and we're going to get the level right with the pebble for the pipe. But what I wanted to show you was we've hit the sand level again here. So if you can see, struggling to see with the iPhone, but yeah, you can see all that is sand. That is perfect for drainage. So I've got about 20 centimeters, 8 inches of pebbles going in here, And so all the way along, 25 metre trench, about 30 centimetres wide, a foot wide, we're going to have all these pebbles. It's all going to hopefully drain really well. So while I'm waiting for the pebbles to come, I shall show you where we're up to with the gas pipe. Here we're next to the kitchen door, and the gas pipe has to stop about 1.50 m, so 8 foot from the door, and my plumber has to come and do the last 8 foot or 1.50 m in copper. So I have to have a little tank here so that you can access the connection between the plastic and the copper. We did find the electricity here and the telecom there, but that was all dug out by hand by Cyril. We've now backfilled on top of most of the gas pipe and filled in around the gas pipe with sand, and then at 30 centimeters above the backfill we put this yellow marker so that people know if they dig that they're gonna hit gas if they keep going. So as you can see here, as we go further away towards the gate where we're going to have the gas meter, we're just literally covered in the sand so far, just to cover over the pipe, make sure no stones or anything break the pipe. Same again over here on this side. We're going to have at 8 foot from the connector, it's going to be in copper, and yeah, we have to do the connector in a tank about there, something like that. You might have noticed the red conduit, that is for the electric gate. So that's it for digging for today outside and backfilling outside. I need those pebbles really badly to get the drain finished off, and then I'll come over onto this side where I'm doing the gas and backfill all of that. So for the next few hours before the end of the day, me and Cyril are going down into the cave and we're going to start digging out to get the level right in the cave. Again, I shall save you that enjoyable viewing of me and Cyril digging and throwing buckets of sand and soil out of the cave. So when you actually see this next, you'll see it'll be excavated and we'll be ready to pour concrete. I've just taken a minute from the excavation of the cave. It's going really well, but it's tiring work, and I just wanted to say, I know that it's all a bit bitty at the moment on the build. We've got lots of different projects going on, all bits of one and bits of another and things like that. It's just how it is because of the sun, because of my track breaking on the mini digger. So it's probably a bit frustrating as a viewer to see that we're doing all these different things, but I promise you they will come together in the next week or so, and things will look good, really good, and we'll feel like we've got somewhere. So keep tuning in. So I've sent Cyril home for the day. It's the end of the day now. We've got quite well on down in the cave. I think you'll realise that when I show you where we got to. It wasn't really something that we could film because we had to keep digging and moving the soil out and then lifting it up. It was just something that was very, very hard to film. So I'll show you where we got up to. But you can see I can stand in the middle here, and that's the kind of height. So we're probably at about 2 meters 10, 215, something like that in the middle. Of course, as soon as we come over to the side, we start having to kind of move the head a bit, but that doesn't matter because the sides is going to be where the wine's going. So have a look at what we've been up to. So you can see there doesn't seem to be any kind of nice stones around the outside. I think this was the original height in here, but we're taking it down. We're probably going to put a bit of concrete up the side there to support this, so kind of almost underpinning. But you can see the line and how much we've taken out. Over here where I wanted to do that staircase down from the dining room, we're actually just going to block that off with some stone and clean it up. I think we're probably going to end up cleaning up all these stones because it's a shame to do all the work in here, pour a base and not actually clean the stone up. So we're going to try and clean them up as much as possible and make it look really, really, really nice. There we go. Before I head off home, because it's the weekend, before I head off home, I'm just going to measure up these walls that you can see behind me, because I'm going to do something that I've never done before, which is a type of insulation that normally you'd use on a roof. But I spoke to the supplier and he said, no, of course you can use it on the walls. So it's a very thin insulation, probably about that thick, very, very good insulation. And it's lots of little layers. So you've got kind of layers of rock wool almost, and layers of metal. So it's that kind of metal stuff that you see being used on roofs all the time. We used it on this roof. Of course you can't see it because it's underneath the tiles, but yeah, we used it on this roof. We're going to use rock wool underneath where the kind of joists, where the spars are there. So we're going to use rock wool up there. But on the walls, we're actually going to try using some thin insulation that gives really good insulation. I would have loved to have used Kingspan, but we can't really get hold of Kingspan here in France. Kingspan's really good. It's in the UK. I don't know whether it's anywhere else in the world, but it has kind of it's expanded, a bit like what we're using on the floor. So expanded polystyrene with a kind of metal layer on the back. I'm not so sure the metal layer does much. But it's just expanded polystyrene, so it works really well on the walls. You're not allowed to use that in France, or they don't use it in France, one or the other. So yeah, I'm going to just measure up for the thin insulation. Basically, I'm going to have to put some small battens onto the wall first, and then I'm going to have to staple the thin insulation onto those battens. Bit of a fuss, really, but it should take up a lot less room. And should be within well within norms of RT 2012, which is now 2015, but pretty much the same regulations in France. So basically, it's highly efficient in insulating. So I'm going to get on with measuring up. So it's all the outside walls of the apartment that we're going to be doing. So all these walls I'm showing now, and the wall between the garage and the apartment, because may as well treat garage as being outside. It's not insulated in the garage. This wall here too, and then carrying on along this back wall right up to the windows and door there. So I'm going to get off and measure. After a quick measure, I've only done it roughly, but I've overdone it rather than underdo it. We're at 135 meters squared of insulation that I need to buy. So I'm going to get online really quickly because it's really cold at the moment, and if it's cold in the morning we can't really do much outside. So chances are I'm going to get straight on with parquet soon. Got a bit of concrete to do inside, but only a few meters cubed, you know, for me and Cyril that's not that much. So yeah, we're going to do a bit of concrete inside and then probably get straight on with the parquet. As soon as we finish parquet, we're going to have to get on with the insulation on the walls. So I need to get that ordered straight away. See you soon, guys.